Trying to meditate when your mind is away is frustrating, right? But distraction is very common and normal in meditation, especially so when you're just starting. But even with seasoned meditators, it can happen a lot. Generally, if your mind wanders off all the time when you're trying to focus on the object, it's not a bad thing. Distraction by itself is not a bad thing. In fact, our mindfulness training happens when we spot the distraction and then bring our mind back. It's often compared to physical exercise. This is training your attention muscle. So the more the merrier, right? But you will probably agree with me here that it can be very discouraging when most of your session, your mind is elsewhere, thinking the same old thoughts. And when you have to bring it back like 60 times per minute, it can get on your nerves. And while we want to train this attention muscle, we also want to feel our mindfulness practice flow nicely with us being in the driver's seat. So it's definitely better to have less distraction than more distraction. And while nothing beats learning to bring your mind back to the object, there is actually one trick that can help you radically decrease the amount of mental wandering and distraction in your meditation practice. This trick is really quite simple and frankly also often overlooked in meditation training. Interested? Stay with me. Before I tell you what to do if you want to have less distraction, let's try to figure out where all these compulsive thoughts come from. What is the mechanism and why we have so many of them? Why we want to decrease them? Thoughts popping up when you're awake is just normal mental activity. We always have them, everyone. Our brain reacts to external stimuli or to internal processes that stir up our inner dialogue, memories, plans, images, sometimes feelings and emotions, and all this internal life which is in connection with our life in general. If we didn't have this pattern, our mental functioning would be weird. Maybe people around us would think we need to see a doctor. So we cannot and shouldn't get rid of it. We shouldn't get rid of thoughts. But we can make our mind clearer and less chaotic. We can become more aware of our thought processes and when needed, more in control of them. So the thoughts are there, but do we need so many? Minds can get really crazy. So we see it very often in meditation when we're trying to occupy our mind with something else. We see that there's a lot of thoughts and one thought brings up a whole chain of them. Sometimes they can be quite disturbing, provoking feelings and even body sensations. Sometimes a thought or a memory can ruin not just the whole meditation session, but the whole day. And it literally comes from out of nowhere. The problem that we, the 21st century people, face is that we are stimulated all the time. We're constantly exposed to things requiring our attention, messages, ads, gadgets. So while we are supposed to have more time for ourselves, our mental lives are many times busier than those of our grandparents and let alone of our ancestors centuries back throughout the agricultural age and the hunter-gatherer times. But our brains are the same. So this information input is just too hard for our brain capacities to process because it's too much. Our behavior may become more quick and hectic, and also our minds are almost always overloaded. Add to this our diet, which is full of stimulating substances like sugar and caffeine. And on top of that, our lives are rather comfortable and largely sedentary, with mostly audio-visual content coming in while we're just sitting passively. As a result, we become very strongly stuck in our head and very much disconnected from the body, the rest of us. So when you hear the meditation instruction telling you to sit down and focus on your breath, what may happen is that you focus on the idea of breath, or even the activity of breathing, instead of the actual feeling, the sensation of the breath happening naturally in the body. Some people can have difficulty figuring out what's happening in their body because they've lost touch with it. So how is meditation going to work for them? They can be high achievers, really smart, they have a fantastic focus when they work or do their hobbies, play their video games, but when it comes to focusing on something so simple as the breath, they just can't. If it sounds like you may probably relate to the frustration that may come when this difficulty appears. It's tempting to think something like, meditation is not for me, or this mindfulness of breathing is just not working out, it's so boring. Or even, there must be something wrong with me, why is everyone doing it and loving it and I just can't focus on 2 breaths in a row? But don't be disheartened, there's nothing wrong with you or your mind. Instead of quitting it or getting angry at yourself, you can just try a simple strategy to switch your attention back from your head to the rest of you. So the ultimate trick against these compulsive thoughts, distractions, mind wandering, is simply bringing your mind back to the body. Switch the focus to the body. And there is a number of ways you can do it, both off the cushion and on the cushion when you meditate. If you're looking for some exercise, for example, try something that increases your body awareness. Gym, of course, may be effective when you want to lose weight or grow muscles, but this type of exercise does not require much of your attention and is usually done mindlessly. If you look at the people in the gym, most of them are wearing headphones, listening to music or podcasts, whatever they listen to, in order to distract themselves from the body which is doing the exercises. Instead, if you try something like yoga or martial arts or qigong, or even some form of dancing, which requires you to be attentive to the body and to listen to the body sensations, especially yoga and qigong. And through that, you may start noticing that you are more present with your physical experience and as a result, more grounded, settled, and it's easier to focus in meditation. And whenever you are doing some of your routine activities, walking your dog, swimming, driving, try to be less distracted and more present in the body, feeling your general body sensation, tone, all the tactile sensations, the temperature, smells, etc. These moments of returning to the physical experience can be very grounding, whether you are a meditator or not. And when you do sit down to meditate, make sure first of all that you actually sit down in a good meditation posture. Don't just land on the cushion and start right away. Take a moment to feel into the posture. Make sure you are supported, your body is balanced, you're not starting with pain or discomfort, or perhaps too much comfort, slouching or leaning back like you're twice your real age. Make sure your posture feels like a meditation posture and go over all the points starting from your legs, so attention goes to the legs. It doesn't visit there very often, right? Then your spine, back, shoulders, hands, neck, head. It will only take a minute, but it will make a difference. And then before you start meditating on, say, the breath, see if you can reconnect with other sensations in the body before you zoom into the sensations of your breath. You can also try and hold all of your body experience in your mind. Expand awareness to all your body before you move on to the breath. So when you start focusing on the breath, you do it from the physical feeling of the body. It's basically just observing body sensations, just very specific ones, those happening in the nostrils. But it's not something that you have to actively do. You just allow the sensations to happen and observe them as they unfold. This grounding in the body can be used as an anchor each time your mind wanders off and you have to bring it back to the breath. Bring it back to all of you, to the whole person on the cushion who is breathing, and then to the breathing. So this way you can make your meditation a less frustrating and a more comforting and grounding activity, just by bringing this attention of yours away from those thoughts in the head to the sensations in the whole body. I hope this tip helps you with your practice, and feel free to subscribe to this channel for more good tips on meditation. See you!